What if I told you that the direction of your entire life, your success, your peace, your focus, could all be traced back to how you spend the first few minutes of your day? Not your job, not your goals, not your talent, but your morning. You see, most people don't realize it, but they're sabotaging their future one morning at a time. They wake up, reach for their phone, get hit with a flood of notifications, and before their feet even touch the floor, their day is already out of control. They're overwhelmed, reactive, scattered, and they haven't even had coffee yet. And the worst part? They think this is normal. But what if I told you it's not? What if I told you that your mornings are not just a routine, they are your most powerful weapon, because they are. What you do in the first 10-15 minutes of your morning can either make you unstoppable or leave you anxious, distracted, and behind before the day even begins. This isn't about waking up at 5 a.m. or copying some influencer's morning checklist. This is about you taking back control of your thoughts, of your focus, of your energy, of your life. Because there's a version of you that exists on the other side of discipline, on the other side of distraction, on the other side of choosing peace before noise and purpose before pressure. This video isn't just about a morning routine. It's about a complete identity shift. It's about one habit that can rebuild your mental clarity, sharpen your decision-making, reset your emotional balance, and reconnect you with your highest self. We're going to expose the hidden chaos in the way most people start their days and replace it with a practice so powerful, so simple, and so effective that once you experience the results, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. You'll learn why stillness is the most underused superpower in a world addicted to noise. You'll understand how just 5 minutes of quiet can rewire your brain and reignite your drive. And you'll discover the exact steps to build a morning that fuels your entire life, not drains it. So before you scroll away and convince yourself that this is just another video with motivational fluff, ask yourself, what if this one habit is the thing that changes everything? Not someday, not next year, but now, today. Because the life you want doesn't start with what you do later. It starts the moment you wake up and what you choose to do with it. Let's begin. The power of your first hour. Let me ask you something personal. How do you start your day? Because the answer to that one question can tell me everything I need to know about your future. Your morning isn't just a routine, it's a declaration. It's a vote you cast for the kind of person you're becoming. And the first 60 minutes of your day, that's sacred ground. That's the foundation upon which everything else is built. Most people treat the morning as an afterthought. They wake up already behind. They reach for their phones, scroll through other people's lives, flood their minds with noise, and then wonder why they feel anxious, scattered, and defeated before the sun even rises. But not you, not anymore. Because here's the truth. The first hour of your day sets the emotional tone for the next 23. It primes your nervous system. It calibrates your mindset. It tells your brain what to focus on. If your first hour is full of chaos, distraction, and reactivity, you'll carry that into every interaction, every decision, every task. But when your first hour is intentional, grounded, and protected, everything changes. You're not just reacting to life anymore, you're leading it. The most successful, focused, and powerful people in the world have one thing in common. They own their mornings. They don't leave them to chance. They design them with precision because they understand something most people never realize. Win the morning, win the day. This doesn't mean waking up at 4 a.m. and sprinting through an unrealistic checklist. It means carving out space for what matters most before the world gets a hold of you. It means deciding, before the noise, the emails, the demands, who you are and how you're going to show up. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of silence, breathwork, reflection, or journaling can shift your entire mental state. You create clarity where there was fog. You create calm where there was stress. You create intention where there was aimless motion. And the ripple effect, it's massive. Your conversations become more thoughtful, your focus sharpens, your creativity ignites. You walk into your day with confidence instead of chaos. That's not a luxury, it's a life strategy. The first hour is the gateway, the gate to your energy, your mood, your discipline. And every time you step through it consciously, you become someone harder to shake, someone clearer, someone grounded. The question isn't whether you have time. The question is, can you afford not to? Because every day you hit snooze on your own life is a day you hand over your power. But every morning you claim intentionally is a step toward the life you say you want. So tomorrow, when that alarm rings, remember this. You don't rise for the world, you rise for you. And that changes everything. Why most mornings are wasted? Let's be brutally honest. Most people are losing the battle before their day even begins. Not because they don't have potential, not because they're lazy, but because they're starting their mornings in the worst possible way, reactively. The alarm goes off, and what's the first move? Scroll, swipe, notifications, emails, messages. Immediately, your mind is hijacked by the outside world. Instead of taking command of your mindset, you're flooded with noise you didn't ask for. You're already chasing someone else's priorities before you've even had a moment to ask, what do I want today to look like? That's the trap of modern mornings. Reactivity over intentionality. And here's the harsh truth. A distracted morning guarantees a distracted life. You may think it's harmless. I'll just check my phone for 5 minutes. But 5 minutes becomes 15. Then your brain is already fragmented, your nervous system is triggered, and you've poured your limited energy into things that don't build you. You've spent your first sacred moments on everyone else's thoughts, opinions, demands. And where does that leave you? Exhausted, scattered, unfocused, anxious, and you haven't even made it to breakfast. Most mornings are wasted because people don't recognize the power they hold when they wake up. They treat the beginning of the day like something to get through, instead of a tool to build mental strength, peace, and clarity. But here's the beautiful part. You don't have to overhaul your life. You just need to change your approach. Instead of diving into the digital world, what if you started your day with your own voice? What if you gave yourself permission to be present just for a few quiet minutes? What if you trained your mind to be calm before it was pulled in 10 directions? Because that's what successful, centered people do. They don't let the wubusi all decide how they feel. They set the tone. They decide who they are before the day even begins. And it's not just about productivity, it's about alignment. Wasting your mornings means wasting your most clear-minded, creative, and focused energy. And if you consistently waste your best energy on distractions, don't be surprised when you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or behind. You can't keep planting seeds of chaos and expect a harvest of peace. So take a hard look at your morning. What's the first thing you see, hear, do, and feel? Is it building you or breaking you? Is it sharpening your focus or scattering it? Most people waste their mornings because they don't believe it matters. But now you know better. Your morning is your mirror. And if you want to change your life, you have to stop starting your days like everyone else. The difference between surviving the day and owning it starts the moment you open your eyes. The one morning habit that shifts everything. So what's the one habit, just one, that can shift everything in your life? Intentional stillness. That's it. No secret formula, no 12-step routine. Just you, sitting with yourself in silence for a few powerful minutes every morning. Why does this matter so much? Because in a world that's addicted to noise, silence becomes a superpower. Stillness in the morning isn't about being spiritual or zen. It's about regaining control over your mind before it gets hijacked. Before the demands, distractions, and digital overload take over your nervous system. When you wake up and go straight into motion, checking your phone, turning on the TV, running through a list of problems, you're feeding your brain stress before it even gets a chance to breathe. That chaos sets the tone for the rest of your day. But when you wake up, sit upright and give yourself even 5 to 10 minutes of pure presence. No scrolling, no stimulation. Something incredible happens. You give your brain room to reset, to listen, to think, to reclaim its power before the world gets a chance to dictate your energy. Intentional stillness trains your mind to be the master, not the servant. It creates space between your thoughts and your reactions. That space is where clarity lives. And clarity is the foundation of every decision, every goal, every emotion you carry throughout the day. Stillness isn't doing nothing, it's doing something essential. In those quiet moments, you reconnect with what matters. You ask yourself, who do I want to be today? What energy do I want to carry? What is pulling my focus and what deserves it? This is the habit that creates emotional stability. It builds self-awareness. It breaks the pattern of being tossed around by your circumstances. And here's the best part. You can do this anywhere. You don't need a meditation room, a yoga mat, or 60 free minutes. You just need intention. Sit up in bed. Breathe in deeply. Put your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Ask yourself what you need to hear. Journal a few thoughts. Repeat one powerful affirmation. That's all. And over time, this simple habit becomes a ritual of alignment. You begin your day grounded, not scattered, calm, not chaotic. empowered, not reactive. Because every time you choose stillness, you're choosing yourself. You're choosing clarity over confusion, presence over panic, power over passivity. The world will always try to pull you into noise, but your peace, it's found in the silence you create. This is your space, your breath, your mental armor. And once this becomes your habit, you'll never want to start your day any other way. How to build this habit, even if you're not a morning person. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm not a morning person. Let me stop you right there. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. You don't need to become some ultra-disciplined robot. You just need one thing, intention. Because here's the truth. Being a morning person isn't about what time you wake up. It's about how you wake up. And you can completely transform your life by mastering the first 10-15 minutes of your day. That's it. Now let's talk practically. How do you build this morning habit without burning out or giving up after 3 days? Step 1. Start small. Don't try to build the perfect morning routine overnight. That's a trap. You don't need 10 steps, a cold shower, a 5-mile run, and a green smoothie to win the morning. Start with 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes of intentional stillness. That's your baseline. Step 2. Set up your environment the night before. Want to know the real secret to a better morning? It starts the evening before. Lay out your clothes, put your phone on airplane mode, and charge it away from your bed. Leave your journal or water bottle on your nightstand. Make it easy to succeed. Because if you wake up to clutter, decisions, and distractions, you'll slip right back into old patterns. Step 3. Use a trigger to anchor the habit. Habits stick when they're connected to something familiar, so link your stillness practice to something automatic. Example, right after you brush your teeth, sit for 5 minutes. Before you check your phone, write one journal prompt. As soon as you get out of bed, sit in silence and take 10 deep breaths. You're not adding more time, you're redirecting your attention. Step 4. Don't wait to feel like it. If you only do this when it's convenient, you'll do it once or twice, then quit. Discipline means doing it even when your mind resists. Especially then. You're not doing this because you feel motivated. You're doing it because you've decided to become someone better. Step 5. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Some mornings it'll feel powerful. Other mornings you'll feel rushed, distracted, or tired. That's okay. The habit isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about showing up consistently. Every time you practice stillness, even for a moment, you're building mental strength. You're rewriting your identity. You're proving to yourself that you are in charge. Not your phone, not your schedule, not your emotions. That's power. That's freedom. And that's how you turn a tiny habit into a total life shift. Remember, small hinges swing big doors. You don't need to change everything. You just need to start with one decision to begin your day with intention. And from there, momentum builds. Why this habit works, backed by science. So why is this one simple habit, morning stillness, so powerful? It's not hype, it's not a trend, it's science-backed transformation. When you wake up, your brain transitions from delta, deep sleep, to theta and alpha brain waves. These are the states linked to imagination, creativity, and calm. It's in this window that your subconscious mind is most open, most sensitive, and most programmable. What does that mean? It means whatever you feed your brain in the first 15-30 minutes after waking becomes your emotional and mental blueprint for the day. So, when you immediately scroll social media or dive into emails, you're conditioning your brain to seek dopamine hits and react to outside inputs. That leads to scattered focus, anxiety, and shallow thinking. But when you start your day in stillness, reflection, or breathwork, you're activating a completely different pathway. You're training your brain to enter the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and restore state. This is where clarity lives. This is where focus sharpens. This is where mental resilience is born. Studies show that just 10 minutes of mindfulness or intentional breathing in the morning can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, increase gray matter in areas responsible for emotional regulation, boost dopamine naturally, the feel-good hormone, reduce impulsivity and improve decision-making. You're not just calming your mind, you're rewiring it. That's right. Every time you choose stillness over stimulation, you strengthen the neural circuits associated with patience, presence, and purpose. And the more you practice, the stronger those circuits become. Think about this. Most people run on stress autopilot. They're reactive, short-tempered, scattered, not because they're weak, but because they've trained their minds to constantly chase stimulation, escape, discomfort, and fear, silence. But you, when you commit to this one habit, you train your mind to be the calm in the storm. You stop living from the outside in and start living from the inside out. And here's where the compound effect kicks in. Do this for 7 days and you'll notice small shifts. Your thoughts are clearer, you're less rattled by distractions. Do it for 30 days and you'll find yourself responding instead of reacting, thinking deeper, and walking into your day with calm confidence. Do it for 90 days and you've hardwired a new identity, one built on control, not chaos. That's the power of neuroplasticity. You're not stuck with the way your brain currently works. You can reshape it, starting with what you do each morning. So no, this habit isn't just sitting in silence. It's not passive. It's not a luxury. It's one of the most active, transformative, and strategic things you can do for your mind, your emotions, and your future. Stillness is no longer optional. It's essential. What happens after 30 days of doing this? Let's fast forward. It's been 30 days since you made the decision to take your mornings seriously. You didn't aim for perfection. You didn't follow some impossible routine. You simply chose every day to begin in stillness. And now, you're not the same person who started. The first thing you notice after a month of this habit is that your mind is quieter. That constant inner noise, those racing thoughts, that urgency to respond, to fix, to worry, has started to slow down. You feel grounded, steady. You walk into your day with a calm energy that others can feel. And they start asking you, what changed? But the truth is, nothing external changed. You changed. Here's what else happens after 30 days. You become less reactive. That email that used to make your heart race. Now you pause, you breathe, you respond with clarity, not emotion. That difficult person who used to trigger you, now their chaos no longer enters your space. Why? Because you trained your nervous system to respond instead of react. Your decisions get sharper. No more rushing into things or second-guessing every move. You think before you speak. You act with intention. Stillness gives you perspective, and that perspective leads to better choices. You gain time, not lose it. Most people think, I don't have time to sit still in the morning. But after 30 days, you realize the opposite is true. Those 10-15 minutes of morning calm actually create time, because you're more focused, less distracted, and more productive throughout the day. You no longer spend your energy fixing problems caused by a rushed, scattered mindset. You feel more in control of your life. It's subtle, but powerful. You stop feeling like life is happening to you. Instead, you feel like you're creating it. Each morning becomes a quiet moment of sovereignty, a reminder that no matter how wild the world gets, you get to decide who you are. And this habit, it doesn't just stay in the morning. It begins to bleed into every part of your life. You find yourself breathing more consciously during difficult conversations. You create space to think before reacting. You pause when overwhelmed instead of spiraling. It becomes a part of you. And maybe the most beautiful change of all, you start trusting yourself again. You've kept a promise. You've shown up for yourself. And that builds confidence. Not from hype, but from consistency. Because real confidence doesn't come from what you say. It comes from what you repeat day after day. So after 30 days of this one habit, this quiet, simple, consistent moment of morning stillness, you are no longer the same. You're calmer, clearer, stronger. And the best part? This is just the beginning. Common resistance, how to push through. Let's be honest, even with the best intentions, you're going to face resistance. You're going to wake up some mornings and think, I don't feel like it today. You'll be tempted to hit snooze. You'll convince yourself that checking your phone just for a second won't hurt. You'll say, it's just one day. I'll get back on track tomorrow. But here's the truth. Resistance is part of the process. It's not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that you're growing. Because anytime you try to change your life, especially through something as powerful as a morning habit, your mind will push back. Why? Because your mind loves familiarity. It's designed to keep you safe, not make you great. And the moment you start doing something unfamiliar, like sitting in silence, controlling your focus, choosing calm over chaos, it starts to panic. This is uncomfortable. This is different. This doesn't feel productive. This isn't urgent. That's the voice of your old self fighting to stay in control. But that's also the moment you get to decide, will I give in to comfort or commit to change? Here's the secret high achievers know. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is what transforms you. You won't always feel like showing up, but every time you show up anyway, you weaken the grip of resistance. You build identity-based discipline, the kind of discipline that says, this is who I am now. I don't negotiate with my growth. And over time, those difficult mornings become powerful victories, not because they were easy, but because you did it anyway. Here are 3 ways to push through resistance when it shows up. 1. Shrink the habit on hard days. Can't do 10 minutes? Do 2. Can't journal a full page? Write one sentence. The point isn't perfection, it's consistency. Even the smallest win keeps the habit alive. 2. Remind yourself of your why. You didn't start this to impress anyone. You started it because you were tired of living on autopilot, because you wanted clarity, focus, and strength. Write your reason down. Read it when resistance hits. 3. Visualize the consequences. What happens if you skip this habit for a week, a month, a year? What's the cost of waking up reactive and unfocused every day? Sometimes the best motivation is seeing what's at stake if you stop showing up. Stillness in the morning isn't always easy, but easy doesn't lead to growth. Comfort never leads to greatness. Remember, you're not building a habit, you're building a new identity, one quiet morning at a time. So the next time resistance whispers in your ear, smile, sit, breathe. Because the stronger you become at keeping your word to yourself, especially when it's hard, the more unstoppable you become. Your future self will thank you. There's a version of you waiting to be realized, a version that's focused, calm, and deeply in control of life no matter what chaos surrounds you. And that version of you, they're not built overnight. They're not shaped by one grand decision or breakthrough moment. They're created in the quiet, in the consistency, in the small, almost invisible choices you make. Every single morning, every time you choose to wake up and begin your day in stillness, you're making a powerful statement. I refuse to live life on autopilot. I choose to lead it. This habit isn't just a technique, it's a declaration. It says, I value my mind, I protect my peace, I honor my time. Because once you master your morning, you start to realize that you don't need to chase control, you already have it. The world will always try to pull you in. Notifications, deadlines, drama, it's loud out there. But when you commit to this habit, you begin every day by tuning into something louder than the noise, your own clarity. You start walking into each day not asking, what do I have to survive? You start asking, what do I get to create? And that shift, that's what transforms your life. Because the future you dream about, the goals you've written down, the peace you crave, the confidence you want to feel, it all begins here. In the quiet moment you choose yourself before the world does. You may not feel the transformation overnight. You might not get applause or praise for sitting silently each morning, but your future self is watching. They're silently thanking you for every time you showed up when it was easier not to, for every time you chose peace over panic, for every time you turned inward instead of numbing outward. They're grateful because they are only possible through the you who refuses to skip the basics. So here's your reminder. Don't underestimate the power of a few still minutes in the morning. They are not small, they are everything. You are programming your nervous system, you are rewiring your focus, you are shifting your emotional baseline. And more importantly, you are keeping your word to yourself, day by day, breath by breath. That's the work that no one sees, but everyone feels. So as you move forward, hold on to this. You don't need the perfect morning. You don't need fancy tools or hours of time. You just need to show up, fully, honestly, consistently. And in doing that, you'll build something far greater than a routine. You'll build resilience, direction, presence, power. Because when you own your morning, you own your identity, you own your path, and ultimately, you own your future. Your future self is waiting. Start tomorrow by choosing today. It all begins with one morning. You've made it this far, and now you know. The way you start your morning isn't just a habit, it's a declaration of who you are becoming. Let that sink in. Because we live in a world that trains you to chase after results, success, recognition, but it rarely teaches you to look inward, to take control of the one thing you actually can shape every day, your mindset, your energy, your presence. And that begins with how you wake up. The truth is, every morning gives you two choices, to react or to lead. Most people choose the first. They reach for their phones, scroll through strangers' lives, fill their minds with distractions, and wonder why they feel behind before they've even begun. But you're done with that cycle. You've seen now that just 5, 10, or 15 minutes of focused stillness, intention, and peace can change everything. Your focus, your confidence, your mood, your discipline, your entire direction. Because it's not about having the perfect routine. It's about having a powerful one. One that brings you home to yourself before the world pulls you away. One that reminds you of who you are, what you value, and why you're here. And yes, it will be hard sometimes. There will be mornings when the bed feels too comfortable, when the noise seems louder than your calm, when resistance tells you, not today. But remember this, every time you choose to show up anyway, especially when you don't feel like it, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. And over time, those small votes, they build the kind of life no one can take from you. a life of clarity, a life of peace, a life of self-mastery. Because when you learn to lead your morning, you're not just changing your routine, you're changing your identity. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for permission, who doesn't live on autopilot, who doesn't hand their power over to distractions. You're becoming someone who wakes up every day with vision, control, and purpose. So as we close this message, let me leave you with this. Don't underestimate the power of tomorrow morning. That moment when you open your eyes, that's the start of something, not just another day, but a new decision, a new direction, a new you. And all it takes is one habit to begin. No matter what yesterday looked like, you get to begin again. And this time, you begin from a place of peace, presence, and power. So start tomorrow with stillness, start tomorrow with you, and watch how everything changes. This isn't just a morning habit, it's your momentum, it's your rebirth, it's the start of your unstoppable life. Now go, own your morning, and you'll own your life.